Impressions of day one?
It was really good energy. We're a well-conditioned team. We have some young, good players, but they're young, so they're learning every step of the way. But encouraging.
Anything you can tell us about quarterbacks? Anything you can take away about quarterbacks the first day, or is it way too early to?
It's too early, but you know I had the chance to see them all summer. You know, so this is just a continuation of that. It's obviously amplified a little bit because now we're in official training camp practices. But I thought they all had a command of what they were doing. They understand where to go with the ball, all those things.
Greg, you went pretty heavy in the transfer portal with offensive linemen this offseason. How are these guys gelling, and are you starting to see a rotation and kind of starters starting to emerge? Or
I don't think we could say that yet, but I think it's heading in that direction. We're starting to figure out what I'd like to do. As I've said to you guys, I want to play a lot of people. I think that's the way to go in college football, and to do that, you got to make sure that you have guys that are good enough to play in the Big Ten, right? So that was the attempt. We have some really good young linemen, but they're still a ways off. So the portal was something that we felt we needed to do. I think they're kind of at different levels of progression right now. And until you put the pads on, it's all good work, but it can't really tell yet, Richie. So probably a better question after we get the pads on.
Hey, Coach, do you have any updates on Drew Singleton's status?
No, I wish I did. We're waiting to hear. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm the know-it-all or anything. I just hope that they do the common sense thing. Right? I get there's rule. This kid, you know, everybody wants people to play in the bowl games. We get urged as head coaches, like, of course we want our players to play in the bowl game. We're going to do everything we can, but you know, there's this thing called the NFL, and these guys want to be able to be ready for it. And I was so impressed that Drew came back and played in that game, even though he had decided to go pro. And then he gets hurt playing for Rutgers. And so his training got all off track, and you know, he's in a boot. We get home in January 2nd, he's in a boot. So I don't know. We're just waiting to see.
Do you have any timeline for when that might be so?
No.
Greg, big picture question for you. Where do you think this is now heading into your third camp compared to, you know, your first time around? I mean, is this program at that point where you can start looking at turning it to, you know, to where you were?
I think we're right in the middle of that climb, Steve. I wouldn't say we're, you know, but, you know, every time you look at a team, who knows what's going to happen? Every season's its own entity, it's its own story. I'm not trying to prejudge this. I know we got a lot of good, talented players in our program that have bought into our culture. If we can keep from making some mistakes, maybe we have some special moments. If we don't, we'll learn from it. You know, this team is right in a good spot. How we develop our younger players is going to be the key to this season. And, you know, these next 30 days are a huge part of that. So,
just the addition of Josiah Harris. How did that process kind of play out, and what are your impressions of him so far?
Well, you know, I have a long history with Josiah. I've known him since he was 14 years old, and he left A&M in the portal, and we took advantage of that opportunity. You know, he's got to learn our ways, and he's got to get involved in all our weight training and conditioning, and he missed all of that, right? So he's way behind, but he's just going to work at it. You know, I'm excited to have him here.
A couple of follow-ups with Josiah. Do you have an idea of the pace he can kind of adapt to? Like you said, like the program learning, the way you guys do things, it's probably too early, but anticipation of week one, just...
Yeah, it's too early. You're right. He got here yesterday at like 1 o'clock. So he ate a good, I saw him eat well at dinner, so that was his first step. He was in bed. He made bed check, so all those are good.
And in regards to Drew, while he's in this limbo waiting for a waiver, is there anything he could do? Can he be around the guy? To what extent could he?
Well, he's allowed to be out here. Right now he's serving kind of as a volunteer coach because as of today he has no eligibility left, right? The minute he gets reinstated, then he switches and becomes a college football player again. That's my hope and prayer.
What's your kind of outlook on the running back room as you look to replace Pop?
I like the running back room. I think we have some depth there. A lot of it's going to be AY, like where is he with the knee recovery? You know, he's doing some of the things. He's not doing everything, though.
Greg, obviously no status update on Singleton, but the linebacker core overall, what are your thoughts? I know they're a little green, but...
Yeah, they're more than a little green, but I think they're good players. I think Coach Heatherman has got his hands full, though, of getting them prepared. Now, you know, the first two guys have played some football, but, you know, combined starts, you can probably, I don't know about Dion, I can't even tell you, but you can count them on both hands, I know that, between he and Reem. So, we'll see.
Time for two more.
Coach, obviously new defensive coordinator Joe Harasimiak is in. Will there be any big picture kind of changes to the defense under his direction, or what should we be looking out for?
I think anytime someone takes over a new leadership role in your program, there's changes, right? We all come from the same defensive tree, so there's going to be tweaks to what he does, to what we did. That's all good. I think really it's more that the unit takes on the personality of the coordinator. And I've been really pleased with the energy and the enthusiasm and the focus of the whole defensive unit. I think they got a special chemistry brewing, and I'm anxious to see it manifest itself on the field.
All we have to go on with Gavin is the eye test, and certainly he looks like a different human being than he did when he got here. From your standpoint, where is he in his progression?
Well, he's done everything we've asked, right? But I think we just have to keep in mind that he actually graduated high school a month and a half ago. So he's still a young kid physically, though. My goodness, he's made incredible improvements, right? When you look at him. Playing quarterback is a really heavy load. There's a lot that you have to master. And it all happens at split-second decision-making rate with a bunch of angry big men trying to hurt you. So that's a lot to throw into one head and process all that. But that's what we're trying to do, you know, and there's a great competition. I think all three quarterbacks believe they're going to be the quarterback, which is number one, right? You got to believe that before, if it's ever going to happen. So I think all three of them believe it, and they all, which is uncommon and which is something I love about our program, they are all helping each other. So they're in an intense competition, yet I've witnessed Noah tutoring all the other guys. I've witnessed Alberici, you know, over the course of the summer. I walk by the quarterback room, and Alberici's in there going over plays. You know, like, to me, that's what's special about the game of football and what happens in our program at Rutgers. So who knows who's going to be the guy? I don't know. It might be two guys, it might be one guy. We'll let that play out. But I just love, you know, you got to have the ingredients for something good to be made, right? And we have the ingredients. Now we just got to figure it out. I appreciate you guys coming out.